Excelente, etc.
Thrill me.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Horror Flicks and Guitar Picks podcast. I'm your host, Tim, and today I'm joined by the one and only Alan Cassidy of the bands Black Dahlia Murder, Infestuous, and Slugdge. How's it going, man? Thank you for joining me.
Great. Thanks for having me back on, dude.
Hell yeah, man. I'm stoked to have you. It's been a couple of years for sure since I've had you last. I'm always never sure if I'm pronouncing Slugdge right, but
Oh no, you got it down. That's the way to say it. Like I always feel like people are adding too many syllables to the word, but no, you got it down.
Fuck yeah. Now, and speaking of that band and of course your other projects, as well as I know you do some online stuff with Twitch and YouTube. Do you want to promote anything you guys got going on music wise, or anything else you got going on? And of course I'll put the links to the Twitch and the YouTube in the description as well. So
Yeah. So I just moved recently, and I'm trying to get set up here now. Finally, I just got off of 3 back-to-back tours, and after moving, so all my shit's still in boxes. I just got my PlayStation out. I got to get my camera back out so I can do Twitch and everything. But I got that going on. Just released a playthrough on YouTube for one of Infestuous singles, Assimilate, Annihilate, and that's up right now. And so is our album is out finally.
Okay.
That was 15 years in the making almost. We were writing it and recording back in 2012, and then I joined Dahlia and things got crazy, and then we picked it back up in 2020, and then took 6 years after that to finally get it across the finish line. But glad that it's out. It's on all streaming platforms right now, and it's out on Silent Pendulum Records, so you can listen to it wherever you have streaming subscriptions. And then Dahlia is still on Servitude, so I have some playthroughs for that as well on YouTube. But yeah, that's I think pretty much what I got going on to plug.
hell yeah. No, I'm stoked to see what you got coming. I'll definitely check out some Twitch when you get back up there, and I love that new Infestuous record, so definitely watch any of the playthroughs with those because that new record rips. Not surprised that it took that long because it's definitely worth the wait in my opinion. But
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was we're not good with time management. That's really our issue. So yeah, we had the majority of it taken care of. I went to Matt, my bandmate's house for the summer back in 2020, and we needed vocals finished or even just done in general. So I went out there and basically wrote all the lyrics, and then we both kind of divvied up the songs and recorded it. And yeah, so who knows what the next album will hold. Like, we're thinking maybe about getting we're getting a vocalist. But yeah, I don't really know how it's gonna turn out. We just wanted to do the stuff ourselves to get it finished up, and so we'll see how it pans out in the future.
hell yeah. Now, is there any chance of touring with that, or probably not with Black Dahlia being so busy and everything else? But
Well, I would like to try and do something in the future. It kind of comes down to Matt's work schedule, and then of course, yeah, the Dahlia schedule and stuff like that. But I've got enough downtime that we can make it happen. We just kind of have to figure out, what exactly we want to do. See, like, what our options are. If we got a sick offer, then maybe. But he's got a full-time job that he has to worry about, and yeah. Oh, and then we also have to find a few live members to fill out the gaps, unless we just want to do tracks. But kind of discussing all of that.
oh yeah. No, hopefully it comes to fruition for sure, and we can talk about the horror movie side of things. And of course, you mentioned you've been on the show before, which for those listening, this episode will be on YouTube, but this is your first time on since the YouTube era, as I like to call it, just because what else am I supposed to call it? But of course, your past episode is still available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, anywhere else that like all my audio episodes are available. So for anybody that wants to hear those episodes, about how you got into horror or some of what your favorite horror movie is of all time and this and that, definitely can dive back and check that out. But this time around, we're talking about the best of the worst, which was your pick. And of course, when I heard that, I thought about three different ways it could go, and I'll let you tell me, your parameters on your list, before kicking it off. But for me, I was thinking it could go either three ways, either so bad it's good, like those horrible movies that are just so bad that they're fun, or there could be those ones that are objectively bad but beloved by many, like a Sleepaway Camp or Street Trash, or something like that everybody dislikes that we personally do like, which for me, I kind of went with a few of each of those. I think I mostly, well, I didn't have any that are, I will say that there's none that are like fan favorites that are objectively bad on my list. I'll say about probably, I have about five on my list, and probably three of them are the one that are mostly disliked and I like. And then the other two are ones that are like so bad they're good in my opinion. But I'll let you let the audience know your parameters for your list, and then if you want to kick things off with your first pick.
Mine are pretty similar. I have two movies that I watched and had no like judgment on them before I watched it. I'd seen clips and I was like, all right, let's give this a shot. And they turned out to be some of the worst horror movies. I mean, just like objectively terrible. Um, they are fun for like some of the dialogue, some of the events. But ultimately, I think they were just not great. Like, I don't think I will watch them for any sort of like bad entertainment purposes. I'm just going to leave it at this is just not great at all. And then I have one that is my absolute favorite for terrible B movies. Like, I mean, genuinely appreciate this movie. And there's something about it that just makes it great for, you know, how campy and crappy it is. And then there's one that I would say is actually decent, but it's just kind of crappy quality.
Yeah.
And yeah, so and it's kind of a weak addition. It was just something to fill in the list a little bit more.
Oh yeah. I almost put one of those on my list as well, but I was like, the only reason I didn't is because it's so independent that I was like, I'll leave it alone for its quirks, because the quirks are all budget related. You know what I mean? But story wise, there's this. Well, I don't want to say it in case it's on your list. Well, I'll say it, and if it happens to be on your list, I'll edit it out. But there's this indie film called Found, where a kid finds a severed head in his brother's closet in a bowling bag, and it goes from there. And I really love that story and the way it's told, but the acting is atrocious because it's just like these, like this guy got his family together to make a movie almost. But the like effect, like they use practical effects in it, the little bit of effects that are needed, and those look good, and the storyline is intriguing enough that even with the bad acting, it still keeps you very like into the movie. But I just didn't include it, which I guess I kind of included it by talking about it, but I just wasn't going to include it because I was like, it's independent, so I don't want to say it's a worst, you know what I mean? But I do recommend people check that one out though, if you can get past like that stuff, like the problems with some of the really really independent films, bad acting, bad camera quality and stuff, then definitely check out Found. It's Found period, and it's on Tubi. So
Okay, I think I've heard of this one, and I might have seen it in the movie selections, but was it something that I think I would have been typically drawn into? Like, what year is this?
I want to say it's like late 2000s, like 2008, 2009. The problem with the film as well is the thumbnail that they put on it is always from the movie within the movie called Headless, which that movie is like an extreme, like it's an extreme movie that you can watch on YouTube. It's a lot of skull fucking, and um
Sick.
and they put that like character on like the thumbnail, it's like a guy with a gas mask, like holding like a severed head or something, and that is not the feel of the movie. You know what I mean? So it looks very like cheesy and B movie, which it is very like B movie, but it's not cheesy like the poster. The poster makes it look like you're watching some kind of like See No Evil knockoff with Kane or something like that. But
Yeah, yeah. Like I really hate when the marketing is completely just wrong for the movie. Like they focus on all the wrong factors of it. I mean, like just individual parts or details or things about it that like play no significant role really in the movie, and especially like in the movie poster itself. I mean, I'll see Tubi do this sometimes as well, where they'll switch out the movie thumbnail, and
yeah,
it'll be like maybe an original poster at first, and then they'll switch it to, I don't know, like a foreign poster. I have no idea really, because like I'm not deep diving some of this stuff, but
yeah,
it's like they make it look more appealing than it is, and I'm like, damn you guys. I mean, it's not Tubi, it's also Hollywood, and it's like you're pulling me in with the hopes of this or that, and then it turns out that it's like none of that made any impact on the movie, or it was like some very like individualized part of it or something that like is not gonna be the actual thing. And so yeah, I don't know, I might have to go look this up. But what were your like qualms with it again?
really just the acting and camera qualities are like the main problems with you're talking about Found, right? Still.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, it's just the acting and stuff. It's very like stiff acting and but the story itself and like is very like suspenseful. So you like the whole time you're kind of like on the edge of your seat. It's just you have to be able to like get past the bad acting and stuff. You know what I mean? To be on the edge of your seat to begin with. So
The acting is so crucial to a movie. It's like you can have a pretty decent storyline. I mean, you could have a great storyline, and then you get just people that cannot sell the
yeah,
dialogue or the, just overall feeling that you're supposed to get from this stuff. And man, it's like, um, watching terrible movies is such a great way to figure out what makes movies good in the first place, you know?
oh yeah, 100%. Watching that and then watching like an actual like full budget blockbuster, you're like, damn, this is why these kids are getting paid the millions. So, especially because that movie like has a kid lead, and so like when you watch that and then you watch, excuse me, when you watch that and you watch like the new Ghostbusters or literally anything with like Finn Wolfhard or McKenna Grace or shit like that, you're like, that's why they have the names they have because they can actually pull the shit off. But
Yeah,
um,
dude, you got to name your kid like Wolf Dickhard or something like that,
yeah,
just to make sure they're going to be super sick later in life.
right. Be a producer of a crime show and a fucking kid actor. Executive producer Dick Wolfhard, but
Exactly.
yeah,
That guy's going to grow up to be awesome
right,
or a complete asshole.
right. And how can you like? And that's one of those things that they always like bring up when you name your kid. They're like, "Well, what if?" Well, I mean, nobody brought it up to us, but like you hear like Reddit stories about like people naming their kid things, and people tell them like, "Oh, they'll get bullied for it in school." You can't bully a Dick Wolfhard. I'm sorry, that's not happening, dude. Like, you
Exactly.
just gave you the
Um,
blue steel, but
yeah, I was going to say you also don't want to turn these kids into God, I can't remember his name. The kid who played Anakin in Episode One.
oh shit, I can't remember his name either, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
You don't want to turn your kid into that, or at least like put them in some acting gig where it does inadvertently turn them into that. I mean, I'm sure nobody thought when he was you know picked for the role of Anakin that like, oh my God, this is the golden ticket, and then he just gets shit on all the time for his acting and George Lucas's writing, and now he is just a very bitter mid 30s dude who goes to Comic Cons to collect the check while, you know, I'm sure he gets backhanded comments all the fucking time.
Oh yeah. Shit, I get him to sign a Turbo Man before I'd worry about some Star Wars, dude. I love Jingle All the Way.
Oh, dude, he was, yeah, I thought that it was awesome. He was a jiggle all the way. I just felt terrible that he was in so many nerds, um, you know, most anticipated sequel of the thousands, and it just totally didn't live up to the hype, and then he has to like take the fall for a lot of it, you know?
Yeah, they're like the fucking kid ruined the franchise.
Yeah, why can't you just be a good actor?
No, but, they're like should have got Haley Joel Osment.
Yeah. Dude, Marshmallow Head, oh my God.
Right, he's out there getting DUIs and shit. Uh, but if you want to kick things off with your first pick of best of the worst, and then we'll just go snake style. You go, I go.
All right, so first off, the movie that I was trying to watch while or right before we got on this phone call, just to like refresh myself with the events in it, is Funny Man.
Okay.
From I want to say 1991. This is a I also want to say an English horror film, and boy, it is fucking weird and just out there. Like, I mean, it is a definite embodiment of the 90s where people on the radio were just throwing fucking stuff at the wall and trying to see what sticks, and everything got its shot. And it wasn't too weird or over the top for anybody because they were all just looking for that next thing that was right on the edge. And so in this movie, Christopher Lee is one of the stars in it. And this guy, it starts out in a poker game, and they are all betting very large things, like or very expensive, important things. And it gets to Christopher Lee, and like he decides to throw in the keys to his estate, and then one of the shithead dudes, I think, rigs the game, lays down some cards, and wins the keys to his place. And this is all, I guess, going according to plan for Christopher Lee.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's any reason why this needed to happen. It's just like him almost wanting to, fuck over somebody. And so he wins this, incredible mansion. And he goes there, and like there are some games inside of the mansion that are left over, again, kind of inexplicably. And it all starts with like this little spin wheel, like turn wheel or whatever. And it's got like win lose on like, or divided into four. And so like when he spins it, it lands on lose. And that's what kicks all this off. It's almost leprechaun-y, like in terms of the fantasy aspect and the corniness and like the fantasy aspect. If I didn't already just say that, but it's like it's so bad, dude. The jester man, because it's the funny man. It's a jester, like ugly jester monster dude, and he shows up and starts killing everybody that's in the house, and it's all ridiculous ways that they're murdered. And then there's like a bus full of people that I didn't make it, far enough to figure out what was happening and why they like got to the mansion. Again, this was like, we were talking about this off camera, but it was kind of like, there's so many movies that we watched that were like, we got to just check this out. And while you're watching it, you're like, this is so bad. And you just start tuning out and you're missing details and shit like that. But yeah, there's like a bus full of people that are kind of hitchhikers and a group of them that are on a road trip or whatever. And I don't know if they like broke down at this mansion or whatever, but they show up and they end up getting killed. The Jester Man has no voice whatsoever. It's just like an actor in cosmetics. And I feel like Dak doesn't sell it as well. You know, like it's almost as if he needed a voice or something.
Yeah.
And but all the kills are super fantasy, imaginative, like very uh kind of like out there. You know, like one guy gets stuck in a wall. Like literally the Jester Man makes like uh the walls, I don't know, like he walked through one or something, and a guy like puts his head through it, and then all of a sudden the brick wall that was fluid at one moment like becomes an actual brick wall again. He gets trapped in there, and the dude is now in a puppet show in this alternate dimension. And I think like the Jester Man like sticks a thing of dynamite in his mouth, and it's very Looney Tunes ish because they're doing a puppet show while this guy is like stuck in the wall, and blows his head off. And yeah, there's a bunch of that type of shit, and it's, you know, he's got a million one-liners. He also is just like a very late stage Nightmare on Elm Street, Leprechaun, just like we stopped giving a fuck a long time ago about, you know, whether or not this is good or not. And I really have no idea who the fuck this was supposed to be for. This was a very weird movie. And by the end of it, everyone's dead. Like everyone. This guy, the guy who won the estate in a card game, he moved in with his family, and his whole family's dead. Every one of the bus people, the hitchhikers, all that shit, they're all dead. And and in the middle of it, there's some stereotypical like Rastafarian woman, like she's Jamaican, and she has the full on Jamaican accent, and like she walks up the staircase like that appears out of nowhere, and it goes up to some fantasy land, and that's where this Jester guy lives. And she ends up having some sort of David Cronenberg situation where like she grows like a gun out of the middle of her hand or something, and now she's like shooting missiles at him, like
What the
fighting
fuck?
in Fantasyland. It is just, it's fucking nuts, dude. And it was like the longest hour and a half of my life. Like I couldn't believe just that it kept going, and that it was like, you know, they're also playing out like all these fantasies, and then roping people in with like elaborate, what is it, traps and things like that. And each one of these people's deaths and, you know, parts of the movie just feels like it goes on for so damn long.
Yeah.
And by the end of 90 minutes, you're like, dear God, I felt like that was 2.5 hours, and every bit of it was just terrible. It's very creative. It's just also like nobody gave a fuck, you know, producing that. Like it was kind of just, it got through too many checkpoints to really like stop it from being a terrible movie before they started making it, you know?
Yeah. No, it's
So
one of those movies that like is even worse to watch on Tubi because you're like, oh, this should be a brisk 90 minutes, and then it's already dragging, and then next thing you know, oh, you got to fucking watch a Febreze commercial, like while thinking about how shitty that kill was.
well, for all of the viewers who will potentially go out and watch this movie, that is actually on what is it, YouTube.
Oh yeah. No, that's probably why I would look for it as well. I've never heard of this one. As soon as you mentioned it, all I could picture was the berries and cream guy from fucking Skittles berries and cream commercial.
Oh, couple more things to add real quick. Yeah, definitely not the berries and cream man. That would be really funny. I mean, he is almost nightmarish in his own way. But this dude has a cod piece that is like the end of a Jester hat, like this, but instead it's like that. So you've got a cod piece that's like a dick, and then there is also inexplicably the character of Velma from Scooby-Doo, like legitimately like orange turtleneck with the orange skirt and the high heels and everything, and she dies in one of the most hilarious cartoonish ways possible. and that was the clip that I saw that like got me to go like find the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you guys got to go watch this. Like I don't really want to give away the death. It's probably the best death in the movie. But sorry to everybody who has to sit through all of the rest of it because it is pretty much in the middle of the movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, this is one that I don't know if I'm like I want to check it out because it sounds awesome in a way, but also like you're saying it's not awesome, so I don't know. I'm
Hey man, one
torn.
one man's yuck is another man's yum. So, don't let me steer you away from anything that you might like.
Yeah. But hey, you are putting it on the best of the worst list, and it sounds good in a bad way. So maybe you're like perfectly, describing it in a way, if that makes sense. So no, because you're intriguing me to it, but you are talking about why it is bad. So now it's just one of those things that's what's wild is I feel like even nowadays, like I can't think of anybody specifically other than like, because I don't want to say that they failed necessarily, especially ones that I love, but you have all these slasher villains that they're still trying to make today. They got the Collector, or that had issues because of rights. That's why that stopped. But then you also had Hatchet, who made 4 films, but they just never blew up as much as like Terrifier. But they've been making stabs at creating those characters like a Freddy and a Jason, even as far back as like you said 91, or even in the 80s, all the fucking movies that like the Unmasked movies and all the other stuff that was like straight copying Jason, or they were always trying to make those villains. And I feel like the early 90s to mid 90s is where there's like a pocket of those very weird ones where they were trying to adjust to films in the 90s but still trying to capture those like 80s villains. And so it just made all this weirdness where it was like, especially like when you just start like, for instance, you're trying to create a Freddy Krueger, but instead of getting like somebody from the 80s, you go get Christopher Lee. You know what I mean? You're like, let me get somebody old as fuck at this point. So,
Yeah, and I don't understand because it's like I don't know what Christopher Lee's whole filmography is, but this was definitely not something he had to do. I feel like, and I don't know. I mean, like you're saying, there is that want to return to classic characters that are cheesy but entertaining, and it's just kind of like this was again one of those throw it at the wall, see if it sticks. But this guy, I mean, again, I don't think it was his fault. Like, he does an okay job, but just the character and the dialogue and my personal preference too. Like, I'm not really into those, slasher film one liner, like, campy guys. Like, it takes me out of the whole thing. I want to be scared, but if you're going to do something like that, then I still feel like the writing is just not quite 100%, to sell it as like, oh no, this is funny. Like this is, enjoyable because of how bad it is.
yeah. No, hell yeah. No, I'll kind of go with my first because we're not doing any certain order. Of course, this isn't like a top five, but these are just like 4 or 5 picks. How many do you have total? Do you have 4 or 5?
I have four with, like I said, the fourth one being a sort of weak addition only because of the probably budget constraints.
That works. I'll kind of I compare 2 of mine up to make it kind of an well, because one of them I haven't watched in a while, so I don't have that much to say about it. So I'll just mention it while talking about another one. So I have 4 as well. So that way we can just go back and forth, back and forth. But and then I do have an honorable mention that I want to mention, but I haven't seen it in so long, so I can't even really talk about it other than just some funny little facts. But my first one is probably my most obscure one, and this is Blood Harvest from 1987, featuring Tiny Tim. I don't know if you've ever seen this one, but
That's on my watch list for sure.
yeah, it's wild. It's one of those movies that I only saw because Joe Bob showed it, and Tiny Tim only ended up in it because he was like asking to be in a film, and the film was originally written for like a normal neighbor. I want to say it was like supposed to be like an elder black gentleman, and it ended up being like, well, they couldn't get who they wanted, so they were like, let's give Tiny Tim a try. And then they were like, he was so fucking weird, so they let him kind of be like this clown called Marvelous Mervo. And he's like the biggest red herring, but he's so bad at acting that they literally had to rewrite his scenes to where he has so many scenes where he's just sitting there talking to himself because he can't act with people. But the best part of this movie is that there's like this reoccurring song that he sings, and it's like Jack and Jill went up the hill, and it's in his falsetto shit, and it comes in like probably 12 different times in this movie, but there's like so many scenes in this film with like random topless women for no reason. There's like the whole storyline, and what's crazy is when I tell you the storyline, you're like, how's there random topless women? But it's literally about this girl that just comes back to a hometown where uh like to her parents' house, and her parents are missing, and like that's pretty much the story. Like she's just looking for him, and like he's the weird neighbor, and people start dying around her, but like everybody that dies around her like shows up for a scene and then dies. So it's like nobody, you don't give a shit about anybody. All the kills are horrible. Like really the saving grace of this film is Tiny Tim. He's such a fucking gem on screen, and like every time he shows up he's so awkward and weird, and like his singing coming in randomly. This film almost feels like more of a John Waters film than it does like like it feels like a John Waters film without like the comedy that needs to be inside it, to be in it to really make it one. But it's just weird. And him as the clown is one of the best things because he's literally dressed as a clown like constantly. He'll just like there's like one scene where she just like looks out her window and he's just like standing there like about to knock or whatever, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Jill, I didn't know you were home." And he talks like that the whole movie too. So he's like I also didn't know how big Tiny Tim is. Like watching this movie, he like towers over everybody, and I'm like, I thought this dude was small. Like I thought Tiny wasn't a ironic name, but he's like a fucking pretty big dude. So
Yeah, and in his normal voice, he's like, "It is an ironic name."
yeah. No, he's which rest in peace, Tiny Tim. He literally, like, if I'm not mistaken, died on stage, and he said he wanted to, and then he
Wow.
they say that he was, according to the Joe Bob episode, that he was like an encyclopedia of music. They were saying how ironic it was because he could not remember the lines to his movie, his role for the movie, and this is his only movie. They asked him why he never did another one. He's like, well, nobody ever asked, and he literally said that nobody called after this movie either because like they showed like a clip of Joe Bob like showing it or whatever, but he couldn't remember the lines to the role for the movie, but they said that he knew like thousands of songs. Like he could literally just play like thousands of songs on his ukulele or whatever instrument, that he could actually sing in like a deep voice just as well as he could like the falsetto and shit. And so it's wild to like think about like how much of a musical like genius that guy was. And they say that he I guess I haven't listened to it, but he did a cover of Stairway to Heaven that apparently is like really good and got like Jimmy Page's approval. So shout out.
Dude, that's incredible. Like I like Tiny Tim a lot. I don't know a ton of or I don't know a ton about him, but I was going to say the other thing that would be genius for him, and I'm sure he had like an actual desire to be in the movie and want to act and things like that. But one thing that was very surprising to me was that any actor who like sings a song within a movie, made up or otherwise, at least like their own idea or their own song or something like that, they get royalties for all of that stuff. So like I learned this from who is it? Brian. Oh God, what's his last name? I can't believe I'm blanking on this. Breaking Bad. Main character.
What is it? Cranston.
Bryan Cranston.
Yeah.
So he whistled a bunch of tunes on Malcolm in the Middle, and he got royalties for all of those. Also, dude who did Uncle Ruckus on the Boondocks, he sang a bunch of goofy, like, train of thought songs, and every single time those episodes play, it's a royalty for him because he's like singing a song. So I'm like, dude, Tiny Tim, the guy who knows a million songs, like, oh yeah, totally not a cash cow to just like sing a bunch of songs, whether or not they're yours or like they're your originals or they're just something you made up on the spot or something. Like you're gonna get royalties off of all that, but doesn't do much good for a dead guy. So
Yeah. That's like his song got super popular, tiptoe through the tulips. And I want to say that was all post mortem, if I'm not mistaken. The Insidious came out. I think he was already passed away by then because I think yeah, if I'm not mistaken, he passed away in the 90s. But I looked it up real quick just so I'm not wrong. But Google should be quick with this one. AI won't let me down. Yeah, he died in 1996. So I mean, he'd been dead for almost 15 years before the first Insidious even came out. So no, it's crazy that
and
like,
SpongeBob. That
oh yeah,
was where
that
I
too.
kind of was introduced to him. Was the I'm so happy, happy go lucky me.
Yeah, and that's more in Syndicate than Insidious. Like that plays often, so I'm sure he would have gotten a lot of royalties. I wonder, whoever owns his stuff is sitting prettier than he probably ever did, unfortunately. But
As is the way of many great artists, unfortunately.
yeah, which is not for I will say it's not like this person did anything like I don't say that in that they did it in a malicious way. It's actually a good thing that they gave him more like because of the people that would never have known about him if they wouldn't have put him out there in SpongeBob or Insidious and stuff like that. So they kind of brought a whole new generation to a guy that would have went by the wayside of otherwise more than likely. So no, it's even though they collect a check from it, at least they brought uh like they kept his legacy going, so it was like in a positive way that they did it. So, but
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate, his continued like legacy throughout media and stuff like that. I mean, he's a very interesting character and I love his music and stuff like that. But that is hilarious that he was in a horror movie and it was like I want to be in a horror movie and then he never gets into anything else and it's all because nobody asked him.
yeah, it's because that horror movie was shitty, and nobody really saw that either. So, uh, but you want to go on with your next one?
Yeah, so my next one is the very tried and true and one that I'm most familiar with, but Jack Frost.
Fuck
The
yeah,
not the Michael Keaton movie, the fucking B horror movie with
they both fit.
yeah. um with damn, I'm gonna blank on her name too. Who was
Oh, Shannon
the
Elizabeth.
Shannon Elizabeth.
Yeah,
Oh my God, Shannon Elizabeth does a great job in this movie. I mean, not only being a scream queen, but also just she is great. Like I love her, and so anyway, Jack Frost. You got this serial killer who is being taken to uh, the like execution place. Like he's being transported in a vehicle to wherever he's being executed. And on the way, there's very heavy snow, and they flip the car, and Jack breaks loose. And then, because they flipped off the road or in the middle of the road, there's like a experimental chemical truck coming down the road, and that guy doesn't see the car accident until too late, and he slams into him, and Jack Frost gets covered in whatever the hell this chemical is. He gets dissolved, like just acid eats him away, and he dissolves into the snow. And they're like, "Wow, well, he's dead. I guess that's the end of it." Well, it turns out that he has molecularly binded or whatever with the water, and now whenever it snows, he can resurrect as Jack Frost, but in a snowman form. And I think I can't even remember exactly if there's a kid that makes a snowman and he just happens to come to life from that or whatever. But man, that is by far one of my favorite, just terrible horror movies. It was one of those blockbuster like VHS boxes that I used to see all the time in the horror movie aisle, and I'd be like, "Oh my God, I want to watch this so bad!" And I was like a little kid because this looks like it's going to be terrifying. And you know what? I wish my parents at that age would have rented some of these movies for me and let me watch them. I mean, seeing Shannon Elizabeth's tits is not good for a kid that's like 10 or under.
Yeah.
But
I was
it
watching
is
American
one of,
Pie.
yeah. I did end up, sneakily watching that like when I was somewhere around 11 or 12 or whatever. But the real part about it is like if my parents would have shown me Leprechaun, if they would have shown me Jack Frost, if they would have shown me half of these fucking movies that are still not good for kids, I would have definitely, I think, been alleviated in my like, you know, horror fixation in terms of like I am very terrified of these, and these are giving me nightmares. And it's like, no, once you watch it and you realize that this is the shittiest movie you've ever seen, and I can almost guarantee it's even bad at a fucking young child standards. Like, this just would have alleviated so much horror anxiety for me. You know what I mean? Like, so, but I love this movie. I think it is fucking incredible how bad it is, but also at the same time, tons of fucking just entertainment value out of it. Like
Yeah.
the kills, the logic behind the character in the first place and how he even exists. The awful just storyline slash dialogue, like it just it tickles every point of like this is a bad movie objectively, but this is just so much fun. And I tried watching recently the sequel. I didn't make it very far through. I think they're on a fucking tropical island this time, which is obviously the antithesis of like what Jack is going to need to survive. But I don't think that it has the just charm, quote unquote, in any way to really like make it as fun and likable as the original. But that is like by far one of my favorites of a so bad it's or list of bad things, but it is a so bad it's good type of movie.
Yeah. No, yeah. Now I love the reveal of the fact that the cookies have antifreeze in them that the kid made for his dad, and he's just like, "Oh, what were in those cookies?" And he's like, "Antifreeze." He's like, "That's how we can beat him." And at no point is it brought up that he was gonna kill his fucking father with cookies filled with antifreeze. They're just like, "We could use antifreeze." It's like,
Yeah, was that even what it was intended for? Was he really trying to fuck his dad over?
I think it. Well, he tells his dad that he's like, "You always say that you're cold, so I thought that I'd put antifreeze in the cookies to make you warm." And so
Oh
it's
my
it's
god.
supposed to be like
You
a
sweet summer child.
yeah, it's like an accidental death. But no,
Yeah, exactly.
that movie is funny as shit. The one-liners and everything, and I agree. I showed my 5-year-old Leprechaun. He loves that movie. I haven't shown him this just because, like you said, the snow rape scene, but is a little much. Uh, but no, I agree. There's some of these movies are just so silly that once you see how silly they are, it's like, oh, that there's no scariness to them. You know what I mean? So, uh,
Exactly. That's all I wanted. I really wanted to have or I mean like I wish I would have had some kind of exposure to it because it's like if I would have known that these movies are I mean just terrible. Like the only good thing about it is the box art. And
no,
that's the only thing that wrangled people into probably renting these movies. And they were probably so disappointed getting it on a Friday, spending $4, and then realizing by Saturday night that they're like, this is fucking awful. I can't believe I spent this money and I have to go like drive the video store to return it. Like, like, what is keeping me from throwing this in the fucking, sewer right now? Like, it was so ridiculous. But that movie, I bought a copy of it. That's how much I love it. So
oh yeah,
please go out, watch it. Like, it is truly great and terrible at the same time.
no, yeah. No, this past Wayne, like you said, to mention the lenticular cover was pretty much like half the film's budget, I'm sure. So, uh,
Yes. the lenticular cover where it's like normal snowman with fucking scary
Yeah.
fang teeth that are icicles.
Now, with it coming out so close to the other Jack Frost, I'm sure there was plenty of times where kids or parents got like confused and rented the wrong one, or even blockbusters got messed up. But we actually, me and my co-host Steven, that he comes on when I do the episodes, without guests and stuff, and sometimes with guests as well. But me and him did an episode back in in December, where we did Jack Frost versus Jack Frost, and we talked about both films, including the uh, I won't call it non-horror because that Michael Keaton one's scary as shit too. His horrible jazz band and his soul patch, that one's it's rough, dude. He put snow boobies on in front of his kid. He's like, snow boobies. It's
Yeah. I
rough,
was like,
dude.
and I was trying to even remember, was there a point in the horror Jack Frost where he has snow tits? And I can't remember, perfectly, but I wouldn't put it past the movie to do it, like, so yeah, it could definitely hold qualities of both movies.
Yeah. Now they're a fun double feature for sure. Well, hell yeah, I'll dive into my second pick. And my second pick, I'll go with the one that's kind of from the same era. And this is one that's hated by many, and for some reason I enjoy it. And that is the Psycho remake from 1998, starring Vince Vaughn by Gus Van Sant. It's one of those things that I 100% agree with people that are like, you don't have to touch a classic. But I don't agree with people that say Vince Vaughn isn't good in this movie. I think Vince Vaughn is like fucking uber creepy in this, and I don't really care for the stuff that's added, but it doesn't take it away from me. And this film feels very 90s, but it also just feels very well made. I mean, it's still Gus Van Sant. You got Julianne Moore, you got Viggo Mortensen. Uh, who's the cop? I can't remember now, but the one from Wild Hogs, the dad from Shameless. I can't remember his name, but
Oh, William H. Macy.
yeah, William H. Macy plays like the detective in this one, and so there's just so much to like about this film, in my opinion. You get to see Anne Heche's butthole at one point in the movie. Uh, no, there's it's one of those things that it just doesn't get. It was a shot for shot remake, but they do like a few little changes here and there, and I think the small changes are like fun nods to the original film, but like done with modern filmmaking. And I don't know. I think it might also help that I saw this one so young that it was around either the same time I saw the first one and or even before I saw the first one. And because of having like HBO at 10, this one would come on all the time, and I'd be like, oh shit, like fucking R-rated movie, you know what I mean? So a butthole for 30 seconds. No, but so that I'm just I understand why people don't like it and like have that opinion of don't touch a classic. But in my opinion, when you're gonna remake something that is this like is that dated and you want to bring a new audience to it, the best way to do it is a shot for shot remake. I know that there's a lot of times where people are like, "Oh, why would you do that? It's unnecessary." But I'm like, some people don't want to watch, black and white films. Also, the audio can only be restored, but so much it's still gonna have that small little like, you know grain to it that might be graining to the ears, you know what I mean? And also it's like having the movie theater experience. Like if you throw I remember when I worked at the movie theater, we had a Blu-ray player, like you could hook a Blu-ray player to the projector and just watch 4Ks, regular Blu-rays and stuff like that. And everything I watched played well because it was all set up in Dolby. And I tried to watch the original Dracula and I had to stop it because it was so graining on the ears. I was like, oh my God. I was like, I cannot do it in this theater because it's just too loud, with that. Like, it's one thing to watch it at home where you can turn it down a little bit, but so, which Psycho is not the case because it has such a freaking phenomenal score, but it does still have that graininess and the screams and this and that. So, no, I love Psycho, the original film. I still think that film is obviously like takes a complete dump on this film, but I just don't hate this film as much as everybody else, and I don't hate it at all. Really, I kind of enjoy it.
So when you talk about like the auditory thing, like is it the hiss pop of like the sort of like vinyl sound of the soundtrack or the audio?
Not even that. It's almost like what's the word I'm looking for? What what it hits uh it's C word. Cupping? No.
Mm,
What's clipping. It's like it's
Clipping.
yeah,
Okay.
goddamn. It's like it sounds like almost like as if the audio is clipping, because it's recorded at it probably was, you know what I mean? Back in the day they were just like shoving boom mics in, and so they can only do but so much with it, you know what I mean? So no, it just sounds like like it's overblown sometimes, and it's Psycho's a bad example of it. I'm not saying Psycho is one of those films that even really has like even in the screams of that, it's not as bad as like some of the other films that weren't shot. Because let's be honest, one thing about Psycho is it's in black and white, but it didn't have to be. So it was filmed later, so all the audio stuff is a little because that's one thing that people forget is it was filmed by the time that they were making color film and stuff. He just did the black and white for I either want to say budgetary reasons or just for tone purposes. I don't know. I can't remember exactly that, but it was a choice to do Psycho in black and white. So Psycho doesn't necessarily have those issues, but I just mean like when people mention just remaking stuff in general, some of those more low budget stuff from back in the day, if they wanted to remake, um, that stuff is where it's like the audio, I feel like, is really where some of the problems. And when you throw that stuff in theaters automatically with that booming system, it just sometimes can't keep up. So
I know that there have been many movies that have been redone, like shot for shot. I can't think of any off the top of my head. I've seen a couple of them, which again does not, help what I'm talking about. But what I'm saying is that like some of those can be really interesting and cool. Like I just in a way it's sort of like it's hard to give the audience what they want, in terms of like, uh, do you want to make a shot for shot just to preserve and recreate like the movie and give it like a more modern approach, or do you want to redo it and kind of like add a little bit more and allow it to be like its own thing, like
yeah,
a redone version of something, and that can be tough. I also, when I think about Vince Vaughn being in that movie, oh my god, it's just Vince Vaughn with his isms, like his like. Why do you want to go up to my mom's house? Like, I don't understand what's wrong with my mom. My mom is a really great woman, and like, like it just him just going 90 miles an hour with like over explaining a million things and all this shit. Like, that's the way that I envision Vince Vaughn. But like, I still think that he did enough stuff that he doesn't come off as like being a one-dimensional actor, like one of my favorite movies, and this is not very well received by a lot of people, but I love the visual creativity to it and the story and everything. It's super creepy, but The Cell,
yeah, oh
uh
yeah,
I thought he was great in that movie. Like I I didn't have too many qualms. I mean, shit, you got Jennifer Lopez, and then you have Vincent D'Onofrio, and Vincent D'Onofrio is obviously like the best fucking actor in that whole thing. Like he's
yeah,
super creepy, and they make him, the fucking main part of the movie. Um, but it's like, as far as a vehicle for a story, and then having these actors involved, uh, uh, Vince Vaughn and Jennifer Lopez are both like passable. I
yeah,
mean, and maybe that's me being like, or trying to give it more um, credit than what most people would give it. But I love the story aspect and the visual aspect. Like it's really good. So yeah, I could see remake of Psycho being like actually legit with Vince Vaughn and Julianne Moore. I just never actually watched it.
yeah. Now I recommend it if you because that's the one thing is Vince Vaughn doesn't do that as much. He's like very much like uh he's very shy in this film, and I feel like all of his other films he's like overly confident, you know what I mean? And so I feel like that's where you do get a it's a perfect example of Vince Vaughn doing something different, especially back then, when all he had out was like swingers and shit. And then if even that was out at that point, I think it was, but and then of course I'm with you. The only other film that I think he really does act. Of course, I like him as like a comedy actor where he's just doing like the normal shit. But like I love Wedding Crashers and stuff like that. And that movie Unfinished Business or whatever with Dave Franco is awesome, but like Brawl on Cell Block 99, that's another good one where he shows that he can act. And I don't know if you ever saw that, but that was really good as well. But he like doesn't speak at all in that. He's like they actually use his size. He's like a towering fort. He like rips a car apart with his hands in that movie, and it's him literally doing it for real. Like that's how strong he is.
Whoa.
But it's wild.
God
But
damn.
yeah, I mean, of course, like an old like '90s Ford Focus or some shit, but he like rips like the hood off and like he's like punching the like mirror until it breaks off, and then he like rips the hood off and throws it across the lawn, and his hands are bleeding and shit. But he's like doing it for real. So, but shout out also, I want to say shout out real quick to Sam from Frozen Soul. I just recorded with her last week, and she shouted out The Cell as one of her favorite horror movies. So, and it was one of the inspiration for their video for Death Weaver. So,
Oh, that's so fucking killer. I'm way stoked about that because like their new stuff is great, and I just think that uh I can't remember the director who did The Cell, but like it's such a just unbelievably artistic,
yeah,
well put together, I mean visually movie, and like everything else can be sort of talked about and whatever, but it's never going to stop being, I think, one of my favorite like modern weird almost horror movies. I mean, I think it's probably technically considered like a thriller or something like that, but it's just it reminds me of like the heydays of the 90s
yeah,
when they were making wild ass music videos. And I love that movie for that uh idea, and also for the fact that like um we really don't have that anymore. You know, like we're not going to get like that breakthrough director that fucking does some really outlandish, wild, stuff. And I miss that a lot.
yeah. Now, most of the time nowadays, it's like I hate to say it, but they're like nepo babies and stuff. Like Brandon Cronenberg does some great shit, but it's like, would we have him if it wasn't for David Cronenberg and this and that? But and I will say this, yeah, The Cell's like way ahead of its time. It reminds me of films like Neon Demon or even Black Swan, that eventually came out and stuff. Very like psychological horror, and the set, like you said, the set pieces in that movie are you could take so many screenshots from that and just print them and put them on the wall, and it looks like art. But uh,
Yeah,
no,
totally.
hell yeah. Shit, down the road, maybe I'll have to get you and her on the show. We'll just do like a deep dive into The Cell.
Yeah, that would be sick.
But hell yeah. But that's pretty much all I have to say about Psycho, because I mean it is a shot for shot remake. Gus Van Sant did it to be an asshole because they were like, I can't remember what he did, but after he did something, they were like, you can do whatever you want. And he was like, I want to do Psycho, and they let him do it. So he just did a shot for shot remake with some random shit thrown in. But now between the cast and everything, it's one of those movies that people are immediately like throw it away, and I believe it deserves at least a chance by everybody. But what's your next pick?
So my next pick is the movie that I just watched before we got on, and that is The Video Dead.
Oh hell yeah.
Have you seen this?
Yeah, actually, the only reason I even saw this is because I really wanted to see that movie Terrorvision, and I love Terrorvision. I almost put that on my list, but it's almost that movie is it's it's only bad because they were trying to make like it's campy because it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? So I didn't want to count it, but Terrorvision I wanted to see so bad that I bought a double feature Scream Factory Blu-ray, and it came with the Video Dead, and again the cover fucking awesome. So I was like, oh dude, I gotta watch this. Yeah, it belongs on this list. I'll let you tell the rest, but so I've watched
Dude,
it, but
I haven't seen the movie that you're talking about, and
oh,
now
that movie's
I
awesome. It's got Diane Franklin in it, Garrett Graham, who else is in it? Uncle Rico's in it when he's younger.
oh no shit, that's fucking hilarious. Like I love that guy. Like yeah, how much you would have bet I could throw a football over the mountains?
Yeah,
But
hits him with a stake because he's driving the
yeah,
bike, dude.
exactly. Like, hey, just try and break this. And then I can't. But oh my god, the Video Dead, this is like kind of what I think kicked off this list for me. Um I saw the uh movie poster or I saw the movie poster a million times. Like, so I have a pirate channel on my TV
Yeah.
that would allow me to like watch all sorts of movies. It popped up a few times. I was like, okay, that sounds intriguing. The poster looks intriguing. Like, why not? Well, this, gets on Tubi, and like I was describing before, I was watching this movie, and for it being such an old movie that I don't think anybody gives a shit about, um, it had advertisements almost every 15 minutes throughout the watching it. And I think that changed periodically throughout the length of the movie, where it was like, okay, 15 minutes here, 10 minutes here, 5 minutes here. Like, it was unbelievable the amount of advertisements I had to sit through the fucking garbage film that I was trying to watch in the first place. And yeah, so Jesus Christ, like, I am glad that it's on Tubi for people's viewing displeasure, but also, fuck, you shouldn't have that many advertisements in a movie that already sucks. So let's get to the fucking bottom of this. It's like, this guy gets a TV delivered to his home, and he's not expecting it, and then it turns out that this TV kills him, and it's all because, whether it's plugged in or not, there's like a zombie flick that starts broadcasting on it. And then sometime in that broadcast, the zombies break the fourth wall and they come through the TV screen and they fucking start killing the people on the other side. And oh my God, between the dialogue, the plot, the how does this happen, the fucking, like, how do you kill them, everything about it sucks. It is so fucking bad. My favorite line from that movie is the neighbor girl who meets up with so guy gets TV delivered to his house. He gets killed by the TV with the zombies. Then new people move in. Then the new people that move in, it's just the kids of some parents who are off in Saudi Arabia. Terrible fucking parents, because by the end of this, they show up and they couldn't care less exactly what's going on. And so these two kids are living in the new home, and the neighbor shows up, and she is like, I got my poodle with me. And she's like, I don't like poodles. And the, main character at the time is like, I don't like poodles either. And then the poodle ends up running away, gets eaten by a zombie. And then she walks out the door and she goes, chocolate, chocolate. And she's like saying every syllable of it, which already irks me. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And he's like, oh, it's fine. Like, it's a dog. I mean, he probably just ran off, or she ran off, like, to, go explore or whatever. And she's like, oh, it's a he. It's a he specifically. Because then she says, well, it's just that he likes skunks, and then he tries to mate with skunks, and skunks don't want to mate with dogs. So then the skunks spray him, and then when the skunks spray him, it really gets bad, because then he really gets turned on. And I was like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? Like, this is so fucking weird.
The dog has a stinks fetish.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, this dog is like hornier than fucking Pepe Le Pew, and like Pepe Le Pew is gonna get raped because, like, he's never met a formidable foe like him. And it's like, oh, guess what? This dog is inherently more horny than you are. So, like, I think that's just fucking insane, off the cuff. And So they go and find the dog. Dog's dead, but everything afterward is so insane. It's just basically like, uh, then they come across some, I guess, dude from Texas who's been, following this TV to try and go destroy it, or at least like stop people from getting uh, killed by it. And he is like, yeah, you got to put a mirror against it. They don't like to see themselves because they're dead, and they think that they're alive. So when you put a mirror in front of the TV or in front of them, they get horrified by who they are, and that'll help, you know, uh, like keep them at bay. But then you can either lock them in a place where they can't escape and they will inevitably eat themselves, or you can kill them with typical, human, aspects of killing people, whether it's a gun, a bow and arrow, whatever the fuck. And they will inevitably, quote unquote, uh, react as if they are dying, even though they are the undead and cannot be killed as the undead. And I'm like, what the fuck logic is this?
Yeah.
Like, this makes no fucking sense, and it's like, so we see both things happen, but we see the first or the second thing happen first before this guy gives an explanation, where a woman is being choked to death against the wall, and she takes a fucking classic ironing, like an actual iron, and she just puts it through the head of the zombie, and it's in the brains. It's in there. It's fucking like, should have taken out any sort of zombie. And then he manages to keep strangling her till she's dead. And I'm like, wait a second. So she died after killing him in a conventional manner, that this Texas character later in the movie is now explaining that, like, if you kill them in a normal situation, they will basically understand that, like, wow, this is sustained damage that would kill a normal human. So now I must act like I'm dead because I want to be alive, but if I react like I'm dead to it, then I am dead. And I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, it's so fucking bad. And so by the end of it, these zombies end up in a living room, and she is, well, the one of the children of these parents that moves into the fucking house that has the TV, uh she's like, the zombies come in, and they're looking at a fucking book, and it has like people dancing, and she looks at it and she goes, "Oh, you want to dance? Oh, we need to go downstairs to the basement. That's where like the dancing happens. Like that's how you do it." And she's obviously trying to trap them, but it's like they get down there, and she is like, "Well, I gotta go upstairs because like there's no music down here." And like one of the zombies pulls out a record, and he's like, "Eh." And so she manages to get upstairs, and she locks them in there, and then they eat each other. And this takes all of fucking 5 minutes. It's not even like, oh, they've been down there for days and they have no other opportunity but to like eat each other. It's like, no, it takes 5 fucking minutes, and they start ripping each other apart, eating each other. And then yeah, by the end of it, she ends up in a psycho ward, and her parents, who have not been around for the whole movie, show up, and they go, "Oh, our daughter's in a hospital. Well, I hope it's not drugs." And It's like, so they show up, they go, "Oh, sorry, honey, didn't expect the trip to be that long. Also, we got you this thing from the house, like to hopefully, make your life easier because, like, after she trapped them in the basement, this is with the killer TV. They eat each other, and then inexplicably, I mean, just like without much detail, really, the fucking fog that was emanating from the TV is now starting to reverse. They're doing the classic like, let's just play the thing the footage in reverse, so all the smoke is sucking back into the TV, and it means that the zombies are going away to their whatever they're doing, and then like they bring the TV back into her room, and then it restarts after the zombies already got sucked into the TV, and at the end of it, it says the end on the TV screen that has been smashed repeatedly for many different reasons. Like a zombie coming through it, somebody breaking it, whatever the fuck. And at the end of her shit, it was like the end. Like zombies are gone. And then her parents show back up, give her the TV, and now it's restarting, and there's a zombie that like shows up on the screen and decides that he's gonna fucking come through the screen. And I'm just like, oh my god, dude, there is so much that is so wrong with this movie. Like, it is just, it is unsalvageable. Like, it is so fucking terrible, and for so many reasons. And the title and the movie poster got me good. I had to watch it for those reasons, and I am very disappointed because of it. But it was, I don't know. I you live and you learn, and that's why this is on this list. Absolutely fucking god awful. If you would like to watch it, it's Tubi, but it's terrible.
Yeah. No, and it's like bad acting, and like you said, with the commercials, it makes it drag. And no, the movie, I even have the Blu-ray, and I've watched it one time. I'm not watching it like, if I ever watch it again, it'll be like throw it on in the background at a Halloween party, and that way people could like jump in when it's fun. You know what I mean? But this movie doesn't have any fun scenes. Even the zombies are kind of boring. It's almost like somebody in the '80s, like, well, like any of us kids. I mean, I was born in '92, but I was still, music video of Thriller was still playing in the '90s, and it was like any of those many kids that was terrified of that video as a kid was finally like, I'm gonna make a movie about that. And they were, or like somebody saw their kid get terrified of that, because I guess this movie was made in the '80s, so it would have been made around the same time. But they saw their kid get terrified, and they're like, ooh, I'm gonna make zombies that come out of the TV. And they just didn't know how to execute it. They're like spending 5 minutes on a fucking woman with a poodle, and the whole mirror thing just to have them get locked in the basement. It's like, I don't know, the whole movie, I'm with you, the movie makes no sense, the acting's bad, so it doesn't even like, and it's not even bad in like a funny, like campy way, it's just bad. Like everybody's so stiff, it feels like a '90s TV, it almost feels like an episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Dude, yes. And there was one line in particular, too, that was so fucking weird to me that I just caught on to when I rewatched it. And it was like, they're introducing each other to themselves. And it was like, okay, here's son of the parents that, is living in the home. And then here is April, who is the neighbor. And she comes over and she's like, yeah, my name's April. Yeah, it's really weird, or it's, I don't know what she says. It's like, it's weird, or it's like gross or something like that. And because it's like a scent that would be on Kleenex. And I was like, what the fuck does that mean to the dialogue? Like, that makes zero sense. Like, my name is a scent that would be applied to Kleenex? Like, this is bizarre as hell. I don't know who's writing this. I don't know, like, what the fuck you're trying to achieve here. But this is, like, almost aliens writing a script for, like, humans to watch a movie to.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's like, it's almost like her name was supposed to be something else, and then when they changed it to April, they didn't change the line. like her name was supposed to be like Lavender or some shit. And she was like,
Exactly.
yeah.
That's what would make the most sense. Like anything else is just like this is what the hell? Like throwaway dialogue that gives nothing to anything, you know?
They changed the name and all they did was go in there and do like the little like Microsoft Word thing where you change all the same word to like they changed all the Lavenders to Aprils and didn't like change any of the fucking dialogue. And on set they were like, we don't have enough film. Just go. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say she might have had enough like understanding to be like, that doesn't make sense. And they're like, that's the way we wrote it, just fucking say it.
yeah. Like we don't have time. Or she said it and then thought about it. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
It's like, well, we already shot it, uh but hell yeah. I'll go on my next one and actually this is gonna just for sake of time, this would be the last one that I fully talk about, and then I have like three I'll just rattle off. Oh, do I even have three? I have two. Well, no, I do have three that I'll just rattle off after you do your final one. But my next one is from 2005, and this one was based on the film 2000 Maniacs by Herschel Gordon Lewis, and this is 2001 Maniacs. I don't know if you've ever seen this film, but it's about a group of college kids that stumble upon a Civil War reenactment, and they stumble upon the Southern side, and they're super racist. And it's run by Robert England and Lynn Shay are like the leads of the like Confederate like place that they show up at, and like literally all the characters are completely despicable. They're like all the dudes are super sexist. There's like racial jokes in it that are like definitely with the time, you know what I mean and stuff. But there's a black character in there that jokes back to the racial jokes when they like like gives them shit back, you know what I mean? So it's not like it's all like it's not mean, you know what I mean? It's
Right.
all so it's still like fun to watch today in my opinion, but it's just a absolute fun film. It's got you've seen Cabin Fever, right?
I actually haven't.
Oh shit. In Cabin Fever, of course, Eli Roth directed it, but he also has a role. He plays this random guy with a dog named Dr. Mondo that like shows up and tries to like hang out with the crowd of kids, and they like are a dick to him, so he goes away. And that character shows up in the beginning of this movie. So this movie like lives in the same universe technically as like Cabin Fever as well. So, but it's one of those movies where all the characters are despicable. They all die in super fun ways. It's like the movie's got like jokes that like are inappropriate in every way possible, but it's funny as shit. It's funny to see Robert Englund and Lin Shaye act like the way that they act in this film, especially. So, no, I highly recommend people checking this one out. And I believe this one was on Tubi, if I'm not mistaken. That's where I watched it last night. So, and it's definitely one that some people won't like. Like my wife was like, "What the fuck are you making me watch?" So I was like, "This is the only one I rewatched," and I was like, "Oh, this movie rules!" Like especially when you're like in a crowd full of people, but I also watched it for the first time like a crowd full of teenage dudes, so of course we all thought it was hilarious back then and stuff, but definitely still funny in my opinion, and especially if you like it's so funny because of who's in the roles, you know what I mean? So the kills are fun. One of the guys is played there's like this they have like the Southern charmer guy that they send out to try to woo the women, and he ends up like taking one of them to have like he like lures her out into the middle of the field, and like she like wakes up, or like he's like making out with her, and when he like gets up off of her, she like realizes that she's like tied up on her arms and legs by horses, and like they have the horses run in like different direction and like pull her apart. And so there's like super cool kills and stuff. And
Shit.
that guy's played by the guy from Detroit Rock City, that the bass player, the one with like the long shaggy hair, the one that's like they take his mom's car. I don't know if you've ever seen Detroit Rock City, but uh
Okay, yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's that character he plays in it, and it's funny as shit because he has this horrible Southern accent in it the whole time. But there's like one of the jokes is like Robert England is of course like super like he's like the Confederate leader, so it's like him and his sons standing around, and he's like there he mentions he's like I guess there's like a guy that's with him that's like bisexual, and he like keeps mentioning like trying to sleep with one of the guys in the Confederacy. So like Robert England like mentions like, oh, I'm gonna have the pretty boy, I can't remember his name, but he's like, I'm gonna have that pretty boy have to go sleep with, this character. And the other guy goes like, oh, I'll do it, Daddy. And he's like, well, why the hell are you so excited? And it's like little shit like that, you know what I mean? Where it's like it's obviously funny because of who the characters are supposed to be, you know what I mean? Not like because it's homophobic, you know what I mean, and shit like that. So, you
Right,
know,
right.
yeah. So no, it still works in the context of everything, even though the jokes are offensive. It works because they're supposed to be like this Confederate like group of ghosts, pretty much. And no, it's fun as shit, and highly recommend watching it, especially like a crowd or something. You know, like if y'all have like next time you're hanging out with the boys and you want to watch something that's just absolutely goofy, you know what I mean? Definitely throw it on. So, or if you and the, I don't know if your wife is an enjoyer of, or your girlfriend is an enjoyer of this type of stuff, but she might enjoy it as well. But
Oh, dude, she definitely has a soft spot for that stuff, but she also kind of gets a little bit irritated with, where I'm like, "Hey, let's watch this really terrible movie." And she's like, "Are you fucking serious? Like there's a million other things that we could watch right now." And I'm like, "No, but like there's a really good terrible movie that we could be watching." And she the other day was like, I want to watch a kids movie, like, but I've watched them all, and I was like, oh, let me show you something that's really great. And I put on what was it called, Food Fight? Have you ever heard of that? That's not a horror movie, but it's a terrible, terrible CGI kids movie that was supposed to be a big fucking deal, that had Mark Hamill, Wayne Brady, uh, Charlie Sheen, uh, and all of these fucking uh, what is it, like brand deals,
yeah,
that was supposed to be like a Toy Story, but it was more for the fucking grocery store.
yeah,
So uh, it became like a sausage party, but like should have been like a kids sausage party without all the adult humor that was related to it. It was going to be like legitimately, like, oh, hey, here's all these brands in the grocery store that you normally see, and all the foods and the way that they interact with people. It makes no sense. You got to go watch this movie, Food Fight, because the food is like almost secondary to the story. So
yeah.
that's why I bring that up.
No, hell yeah. No, I kind of remember, if I'm not mistaken, when that came out, because isn't it like certain characters like in it, like Mrs. Twinkie or whatever, or like Twinkie the Kid, or I can't remember who it was, but I think there was like actual brand characters that were like characters in the movie, if I'm not mistaken.
Dude, perfect. I mean, I wish it would have been better for them, but they kind of should have known what they were signing up for.
Right. But oh yeah, what's your next and final one?
Okay, my next and final one is the week edition. Um, and I say it's a week edition because uh it's not a best of the worst. It's more like this was not so great and should have been better. But I enjoy it nonetheless. And that movie is Extero. Extero is, I think, an English horror movie. And one of the reasons why I included it was because I think the budgetary constraints just kind of didn't allow it to be as good as it should have been. The execution of a lot of different things in this movie are really fucking great. Like, I also think that the story could be great. Like, I will say it's been a minute since I've watched this movie. But when I did first watch it, I was like, damn, this is actually kind of cool. Like, the horror elements of it do seem, yeah, almost like scary. Like it really does kind of come off as scary, but it's kind of like when you see the clips of it or isolate certain scenes and things like that. But one of the issues with the movie is that like the creature that they see in the beginning of the movie, oh, this is all an alien thing, by the way. Um, it's a person that is literally doing the spider walk, with the arm behind them, and they have an upside down mask that makes them look like, oh wow, this like weird being that's doing a crab walk with like a head hanging down and sort of like arms, you know, pointing to the sky and belly pointing to the sky and everything, and the upside down mask, it makes it look like this creature is like very terrifying.
Yeah.
And I think if you would have not focused so much on that type of stuff, like it would have sold it a little bit more. I do believe that the budgetary constraints played into that, and it was like, hey, how do we make this look really creepy? Well, we just contort a human and put a upside down mask on them, and then this looks really freaky. Um, but it's as far as I can remember, it's like a alien crash landing. Some random people find out that there might have been something like that happened out in the woods. They find the uh, creature, and that's the first time you see what I'm describing. And then after that, uh, one of the main characters starts to have like all these dreams and visions of alien stuff, and I think somebody ends up getting impregnated by the aliens, sort of alien style, like actual alien movie. And I remember that there was like a scene where she's on the mothership, and I think that there was stuff like coming out of her or something like that. It's not quite clear because it was a long time ago when I watched it, but uh, it ends up being creepy and cool at the same time. And I was like, you know what? I feel like if this movie had a better budget, like it would have ended up being a probably decent horror sci-fi like edition.
Yeah.
And yeah, and so like, you know, that is like where I sit on it. It's like it was a good movie, or I think it could have had the potential to be a good movie. It just sort of was, lacking in the budget, and unfortunately, I don't think the reception was great because of it, and therefore there are two other sequels to it. So therefore, it can't be the worst movie in the world,
Right.
but it still is like every sequel is declining in value or quality, and it's kind of like, ew, like, so now we're getting into like really shitty just sequel territory, and you can't do much about it, but it was a great concept.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, it's been a while since I've seen it, but I think that does have a pretty cool alien birthing scene eventually in the film. It's been a while. I've always heard it pronounced extro, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But
Oh yeah, I have no idea. I just like fucking saw it on a thumbnail.
yeah, no, it's one of those that I've seen it one time just because I hear people talk about it a lot, and I wanted to knock it off the list, but I never watched like any of the sequels. But I remember enjoying it, but not enough to like return to it. I'm with you. It's one of those that it's like it had the potential there, but it just needed a few more things to be like something that I felt the need to rewatch often or something, So
I watched a little bit of the second one, I think, because I was like, oh well, I have to know how this all works in the sequel bit of it. But it was very focused on militaristic aspects of things, where it was sort of like going into the aliens realm, where it's like, oh, now the government knows about this shit, and now they're trying to get involved, and we kind of know that this is a threat, and we're sort of kind of trying to deal with it. But I swear to God, within the first 30-40 minutes of that movie, it just feels like they're trying to find the thing in general, and they don't really know how to deal with it, and it's not engaging whatsoever. There's a lot of old video, like 1980s, like what do you call it? Like, we're scanning a canyon for like an alien presence, and we're doing the topographic like scans of it, and we're trying to find it. And I swear that's like the first 30 minutes of it. It's like, dude, you can't give me 30 minutes of we're trying to find it, and we don't know where it is, and we don't know what this is, and like we don't know how to deal with it. And then, oh, like I don't know whether or not it was planes or drones or something like that, but they're going down, and like we don't know how to deal with this thing. And it's like, well, okay, great, but like this sucks. I mean, like, you're not really roping me in because it's there's no action. Like, you got to get,
Yeah.
I don't know, something consequential happening in there. And so it took me a while to get through even half the movie, and I was not into it.
Yeah. No, I feel that. There's been a couple movies where I've like especially if I watched like the first half and they were a slog and then I've fallen asleep and I'm like, fuck, I don't know if I want to finish that movie. You know what I mean? Or like, and sometimes I'll like, if I watch a movie and I'm really enjoying it and like I fall asleep on accident, I'll like start it completely over. And there's some of those movies where I'm like, where the fuck? I got to go to the exact second I was at. I ain't got time to give this any more extra time.
Dude, for real. It's like sometimes you just got to cut your losses. I do have an issue even with music too, where it's like you find a band that you think could be really cool, and then you just have to go through their entire discography, or you
Yeah.
have to watch the entire movie just to be like, dude, did I not miss out on like the best thing that I didn't know about? And it's like, well, no, you didn't in most situations, but I've been proven wrong in others. And that's where I feel the worst, because I'm like, God damn, I've wasted so much time hoping and praying for something to make this a better movie or whatever, like an experience, than what I would expect, but it just doesn't become that.
Yeah. No, and nowadays with streaming, it's just so easy to find a dud, you know what I mean, or get stuck with a dud than, back in the day, especially with, like, we already mentioned the thumbnails, like the Video Dead poster being on the thumbnail immediately makes you think this is gonna be a rad ass 80s movie. It's the opposite. Extra even has a pretty cool alien on the front and stuff, but no, it's very, that's the other thing is it's very few and far between that the posters line up with the quality of the movie, or even some of the like synopsises, sound like Video Dead, you can make that sound awesome, zombies coming out of a TV, if you just say it in 2 sentences, but then once you add all the fucking fluff in it, it's like, god damn it.
Yeah,
But
and I had no idea what the Video Dead even means. Like,
yeah,
I mean, it's referred to in the movie, and it's really badly referred to in the movie, where it's like contextually it makes no sense. And I was like, the fuck? Like, they just really try to fit that in there the right way. Also, real quick, gonna throw in as another movie that I haven't seen in a while, but kind of fits into this whole thing. Waxwork 2, not nearly as good as Waxwork.
yeah,
Like, that was one of my favorite fucking horror movies that I didn't anticipate being really fucking great. Watched the second half of it, the sequel, and it was, man, they got this fucking almost like do you remember the uh infomercial for, fuck, I thought I remembered what the name of it was. It was fucking like, it's called like Smooth Sounds or something like that. It was from the 90s, and it was just a fucking Enya like type,
oh yeah.
um it was an Enya type like variety CD that
Yeah,
they sold, and it was like on infomercials that would show up all the time late night, and they have like in the middle of Waxwork, two, a like Enya like track that plays in it, and I was just like, what the hell is this? Like, why is there this track happening when you're trying to convey or make some kind of horror movie, and yet you're using this 90s, like, what is it even called? It's like it's new age, like, genre music or
Yeah.
something. And I was like, this is fucking crazy. I mean, this is just like taking the value of this movie down multiple steps just through this fucking music video thing that you have going on for a minute and 30 seconds in the middle of a hour and a half movie. And that's
Yeah.
like an eternity, you know, when it comes to a movie.
Yeah. No, I feel you 100%. That's and some of that shit, that's what puts me to sleep is when it like lulls like that. You know what I mean? It's like you got a 3 minute freaking Enya song. I'm going out, dude. Like that's what put me to sleep as a kid my whole life. I'm going to sleep now as an
Dude,
adult, but
you've been trained by hours of
right.
late night infomercials trying to lull you to sleep.
Right. No, hell yeah. Now I have like three that I'll shout out right here at the end and then we can wrap up. But and I'll continue with the music and horror because one of the ones I wanted to shout out was Pledge Night. I don't know if you've seen Pledge Night, but it's the music is done by Anthrax and Joey Belladonna is in the film. And it's not a good slasher film, but it's fun enough. If I'm not mistaken, he comes out of a toilet, but that's why like you see the poster, it's like a hand coming out of a toilet, but it's a fun enough film, and because it's Anthrax, it's worth watching. Anthrax is my favorite of the big four, so as soon as I heard about that film and when it hit Shutter, I was like, "Fuck yeah, I gotta watch it." And
I was gonna say, is it anything like the metal up your ass, like, you know, Metallica photo that they had, or illustration? I mean,
kind of, it's a little bit different. I'll show it. I can show it to you real quick. I'll show it to the camera. Oh yeah, it's God damn it, I forgot that it was holding a banana. It's literally just a hand coming out of the toilet holding a banana.
oh my god, that
And
is so
it tells you how
outrageous.
bad the movie is. I swear they made like a cooler version of it for like the re-release, but I'm not finding it. But this is what Joey Belladonna looks like in the movie, if I'm not mistaken. He's like all zombied out and shit, so it's pretty cool. But now that was one because it's like worth watching, especially for fans of the band and just like of thrash in general and stuff. But 31, the Rob Zombie film, I feel like it's a lot of people's least favorite of his. In my opinion, there's no character development. The end of the film is garbage. But man, if I don't have a blast with the first hour and a half of that and just all the crazy kills and stuff that happens, and sometimes shitbag characters are fun to spend an hour and a half with. They don't always got to be lovable. So and then the last one I had is Dead End. I don't know if you've seen Dead End. It was like a mid 2000s one as well, and it also starred Lynn Shay and Ray Wise from like Twin Peaks and stuff.
No
And
way.
yeah, they're like it's them, their son, daughter, and like son-in-law, and they're traveling to somebody's house for like Thanksgiving or something, and they pretty much end up on a like a never-ending road. Like the movie starts in the car and like never really leaves like the car and like the side of the road and shit. And it's got like some horrible editing and some really bad like techno music randomly because it's like that era 2000s. But it's fun and it's funny and it's got some genuine like creepy scares to it, like some random like creepy parts and some random like jump scares that still work. So those are the three that I was like just kind of gonna mention real quick because it's been a while since I've rewatched Dead End. It's one that I throw on randomly to go to sleep because it is slow. Like it's not great, but it is like fun enough. But so I've watched it like kind of recently, like in the past 6 months, but I only watched like enough of it to fall asleep. I didn't even fully watch it, but it's enjoyable. I watched it about the same time as I like back in the day as I watched 2001 Maniacs, so I kind of probably have a little nostalgic for it as well. But Ray Wise and Lynn Shay together are worth a watch in my opinion. But
Dude, absolutely. I was gonna say, what was the movie that you were just talking about before that?
31.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. 31. 31 reminded me, as far as I watched, and I'm talking like I only got into the first 15, 20 minutes of the movie. It just immediately hit me as like Mandy, but I don't know, where I guess like the freaks really take over. And I was like, okay, this psychotic dude in the beginning is like the acid lord, and with the tiger or whatever it was. But yeah, I tried watching that, and I don't remember what happened. I think I tried getting through it on a few different occasions, and I was just like, there's nothing that's gripping me here. It's literally like, I don't know. It's just like typical Rob Zombie or whatever. And it's not to say that that guy doesn't always, do decently or whatever. It's like, I mean, he has definitely had some misses and shit. But I will say that, like, House of a Thousand Corpses is okay. 31, as far as I had seen, was just sort of like, eh. And, whatever, the or not Hateful Eight, Jesus Christ. What was the sequel to
Devil's
House of
Rejects.
Thousand? Yeah, Devil's Rejects. That was okay. I don't know. I guess it really comes down to what the audience is looking for. Like, are you trying to have an experience of like, oh wow, these are really creepy people that you would never want to meet, or is it like, do you want to have like a sick Halloween sequel or something like that? And I don't know. I feel like he's come through on various elements of both, but it never really completely pans out the way that I would hope for like any of those movies,
Yeah. Now, outside of his first two, which I am a pretty big fan of, like Devil's Rejects and House of a Thousand Corpses, everything after that is like I like them with contingencies. You know what I mean? Like I like this one because it's a fun film to throw on when I want to root for the bad guys, and because once they get into the like fun house pretty much, and they start dealing with all these different murderers and shit and all these different like characters, it becomes like nonstop action. So that's where I enjoy 31, and then like Lords of Salem I enjoy as well, but it's like I hate the ending of that film as well, and I feel like it's a little slow and boring at times, and um but I do enjoy it, so like most of his films I feel like as a filmmaker he doesn't see a lot of stuff through, you know what I mean? He has great ideas, but it's hard he needs somebody to write his films for him, and in my opinion, but
Yeah, might need a ghost editor or writer or something like that. I don't know, but I mean, I don't know. Again, it always comes down to like there are aspects of this that I'm into, and then it just for one reason or another doesn't totally pan out.
yeah. No, I agree. I turned off the monsters. I tried to watch his fucking. I was like, he loves the movies. I mean, he loves the show so much. He's talked about it. Literally, Dracula is based on fucking the monsters. It's his biggest song, and I was like, I gotta watch it. Like
I
10 minutes
fell
in,
asleep a lot through the last part of
I
it.
turned it off. I was like, dude, I can't do this. I was like, because usually I like his wife as Baby, but when you put her in this, as soon as she showed up as uh the monster, I can't remember her name now, but I was just like, this fucking sucks. So I can't do it. Uh, but no, hell yeah, man. I appreciate you for coming on the show. It was a blast chat with you, and this was a fun topic to dive into. I usually uh just talk about like films I like. It's like the top half, so it was fun to talk about a few that like I enjoy, but there's definitely problems with them and stuff. So
Oh, and I definitely was very happy to be on here, talking about the movies that are fun to hate on, because they're for as many movies, horror movies that are out there, like there are so many duds, and they can be appreciated for so many different reasons. And like, I am the type of person that really likes bad movies, and like it can be appreciated for any number of reasons. And I'm gonna watch as many of them as I can, hopefully without getting some kind of outside uh, like imbalance to the idea of like, somebody tells me, oh, this is a great B movie, but it's also fucking terrible. It's like, no, I just want to go in and watch it as like, all right, I will just check this out as is, and then I will formulate an opinion, because all these movies are bad in their own ways, but I think they can all be appreciated in their own ways as well. And that's what, gives them almost a second life, I feel like.
Yeah. No, definitely. And like sometimes you end up having these films that you have such a fun time watching because they're like at a certain time in your life, or even just with a certain crowd, or like after like a certain fun night, like say you guys had a great night on tour and then you watch a certain movie with the band. It might be horrible, but that movie will always have like a nostalgic, or like a pull for you because it's like you had such a fun time watching it, you know what I mean? And like same thing with me, like these movies like 2001 Maniacs and Dead End, like the first time I watched them, I had such a blast that it's hard not to watch them and have like at least a smile on my face because I remember like, like it's like a nostalgic thing of watching. It's almost like the same thing as watching like E.T. Now as an adult and thinking about watching it as a
Yeah,
kid and stuff. So, uh, but just different memories. You know what I mean? But no, yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So I hope that people can walk away from this with a couple of new movies to watch for, hate watching aspects or just entertainment value. I don't know. I mean, you've heard our reviews, so pick your best of the worst.
Oh yeah. Now leave a comment wherever you're listening and let us know what makes your best of the worst list. And I appreciate you for coming on the show, man. We'll have to get back together down the road for sure. Down.
Yeah, absolutely. This is great.
Oh yeah, man.